Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching. So today I'm going to show you how I've made this really cute Halloween caddy. There's 3 boxes inside here and you can hold it all really nicely there with the handles. It's all held together with some hook and loop. So just take that apart, and then inside there you can see your 3 boxes. They've all got their own separate lid. I've stuck mine into the tray, but you could have these completely removed. I think this would look lovely decorated with my Glitz and Glam collection. So it's all like makeup and handbags, and you could have bits of makeup in here. You could also decorate this for Christmas and have different Christmas presents and treats. It's going to work for so many occasions. And I think you could personalize this as well. So maybe if you've got someone who's into fishing or golf, then you could, you know, fill it with presents suited for that theme as well. It's just a really fun style. It's very, very easy to make. You don't need any specialty dies. The only die I used was for the handle, but you could easily cut that by hand or not use it. It's completely optional. It's nice as a tray with the boxes on its own as well. So to make one of the boxes, you're going to need a piece of 4.5 squared for the lid, and you want to score at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So just rotate 1 inch, rotate 1 inch, and again 1 inch. And then for the box, you want a piece of 6.5 by 10.25. And for this one, because we need to make it fit into the lid, we need to make the sides, which are 2.5, we need to make them just a little bit shorter. And the best way to do that is if you get yourself a piece of scrap card, which is the same weight of the card that you're using. So this is actually the Lidl cardstock I'm using here. Just fold it in half and just stick it right up into the corner there, and then butt your paper up to, or your card up to it. Okay, and then remove it, and you'll see it's just come away from the side ever so slightly. You then want to score at 2.5, and then push it right back into the corner, and you're going to score at 4 7/8. And then you want to bring it back out again. I can eyeball this, but if you want to just place the piece of card there again, then you can do so. And then you're going to score at 7 3/8, and then you're going to push it back in again, and you're going to score at 9 3/4. What we've now done is we've made all of those panels just slightly smaller than 2.5, so the lid will fit over nicely. Then for the tray for them all to sit in, this is a piece of 4 5/8 by 9 7/8, and you're going to score at 1 inch again on all 4 sides. To be honest, you might want to make your sides a bit higher. If so, then you just need to, you know, make this a bit wider. So fold and burnish all of the score lines. Okay, so starting with the lid, you want to cut up to the first score line along both of these score lines. So you've freed up your squares in the corner, and rotate it so you're working on the opposite end, and do the same. Okay, and then just take a little wedge off of all of the sides. I'm just going to take a little glue and pop it on the corners. I'm going to do all of mine, but you can do one at a time if you'd prefer. Okay, and then you're just going to bring it down and under, and you want to make sure you've got a nice right angle. Don't be tempted to, you know, just be careful you don't kind of it slide under. You see I've got this overhang here. You want to make sure you bring up your corner there so it's a nice right angle, like so. So again, just repeat that on all of the other corners. If you're worried that you might end up making the lid too small, maybe you have, you know, the sides have come in a little bit, do the lid last. So cut it, you know, score and cut it like I have, but leave it until you put the box together. And you can also stick the sides all together as it's wrapped around the top of the box, and that way you know it's going to fit as well. But if you followed the measurements and the score lines that I've showed you, then you should be fine. Okay, so with the box, with the 1/2 inch tab on the right hand side, you want to cut up all of these bottom score lines to the first score line only. And then I'm just coming along the side here. You're just going to remove all of that piece. So you've just freed up that tab then. I've just cut a little bit off of each end. Okay. This second one in, you want to keep as a square, but all of the other ones, just cut a nice wedge off. And this will just get rid of any overhang. And just cut a little bit off of the edge there as well, and do it off of this one, but leave it on that one. Again, little wedge off of there. Okay, so you should have something that looks like that. Now we're going to work along this side, so rotate it around, and now you're going to cut down, and all this is just a reinforcement on the top of the box. So it is optional. You may decide you don't want this at all. Just free them all up and then just cut a little wedge off. These are all going to fold back in, so you're doubling up the cardstock. It just makes them nice little, you know, it could be a little keepsake. Like I said at the beginning, you might have this as like a little makeup kind of caddy, and it could be something that someone keeps on their desk with maybe stationery in. So by just having that reinforcement at the top just makes them a bit more durable. Okay, next we need to start putting it together. So you're going to run your glue down your side tab, flip it over so you've just got that one and the glue tab, and then fold this one over. So this is a good one. You can kind of make ahead to kind of make and keep flat until you want to put it together. So maybe you might be making a few of these. If you've got a small area like myself to craft in, you might not have the space to hold all these 3D projects. So if you keep them flat like this, and then nearer the time you can put them together, so you could hold all this in a little wallet until you needed it. And then I'm just going to pull those out a little bit and add my glue on the inside. So I'm using the construction glue. If you've used a construction glue before, you'll know that it just dries solid. And I always find that when I go back to my projects the next day, that's when you really notice it as well. They're just rock hard. So that will also add to the strength on the base. If you're going to pop something a bit heavier in them, then using the construction glue is really good. My one's linked below. It's the Collall construction glue that I always use, but there's others as well. Okay, so now they've all stuck inside, so it's just reinforced the tops there. And then flip it over. Now the one that you've kept as a solid square, that's going to be the last one I stick down. So fold that one away, and then I like to stick the one opposite to that down first. And then again, I'm going to just add my glue and then pop one of the sides down. Some more glue. Put that side down. And then this one. And this one just tidies it all up. You don't have anything overhanging. You've just got a nice square base. I'm just going to flip it over there and just spread out all that glue. And go back over the sides. And then where I've got the piece that I folded down last, I've got that nice continue kind of fold there. That's the front of my box. And now my lid will sit nice and snug on top. Like I said, if you haven't put the lid together, if you're worried, like I said, it's not going to fit, stick down like two sides and keep these two open and put it onto the box whilst they're still open. Add the glue and then push that down. And that way you know it'll fit perfectly. So you want to repeat that 2 more times, so you then have 3 of them. And then for the mats and layers, so for the top here, this is a piece of 2 1/4 squared. I've then got 4 pieces of 3/4 by 2 1/4 squared for the sides, and then 4 pieces of 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. 4 pieces for the sides, and then you'll just need to cut enough for all of your boxes. So all those papers are from the paper pack here. There's loads of other designs as well for you to choose. So I'm going to pop that to one side. I'm going to cut my mats and layers for that in a minute. I'm going to show you the tray and we can get that all put together as well. So with this one, you put it together pretty much the same way that you made the lid. So you're just going to cut down 2 of the slots here. So this one and this one. And then rotate. Like so. And again, just cut a little wedge off of the sides. Okay, and then I'm going to take my glue, add it onto the 4 corners, and then just bring up each one, like I said, exactly the same way that you made the lid, and stick those down. Okay, so now I've got my tray. Now I'm going to be sticking my boxes into my tray, so it's one piece. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. If you don't, you might want to decorate the bottom of this. And I would cut a piece that's just slightly under 2 5/8. So maybe do 2 1/2 by 7 3/4. Just so then you've got something nice to look at there. You'd have a little hidden message or something. But these now will fit nicely. Make sure I've got them the right way. To be honest, you don't see the bottom anyway if I'm going to be sticking mine in, but they're going to be like so. So I've got a little gap because I want you to be able to get the lids off nicely. So when you stick them in, just make sure that you've got kind of an equal gap from the side and in the middle there. To decorate the sides here, you'll want 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 7.5, and then 2 pieces that are 3/4 by 2 3/8. Yeah, 2 3/8. Okay, so I'm going to get all of that stuck down. Okay, so it's now the next day and I have had a little play around. Absolutely love how this is coming together, and you'll see I've already attached half of the handle, so I'm going to talk you through the other half. This is obviously all optional. If you stuck the boxes down, you could have some ribbon running around from the sides there, or from these sides you could have some thick card and kind of hold it that way like a caddy, although this has still got a caddy style to it. I've also added the boo, so I just used some large alphabet dies that I've got, and then in the ephemera pack you've got the little bats there, and I thought they looked really good. So for the acetate, which you don't have to use, this could be cardstock. I'm going to be covering all of that and decorating it a bit more, but this doesn't have to be acetate, but I do think it looks really good being able to see the boo and the boxes. It's, yeah, I love using acetate with my 3D makes. So you'll want to cut yourself 2 pieces of 6 by 7 3/4, and along the 6-inch side you're going to score at 3 and 5. Whenever I use acetate, I like to use a metal stylus. I've just got this old one here, and you can just really, you know, embed those score lines. This is a heavyweight construction acetate. I'll link it below. So yeah, having a metal stylus does really help. Now, if you've not stuck your boxes in, then you can just stick this in quite easily. But if you've already done it like me, and then you're deciding that you want to add this part, it was still really easy to stick in. So we'll go to that in a second. I'll just tell you the measurements for the handle. So these are 2 pieces of 4 by 7 3/4. And then I used this is the nested slimline, the inverted scallop, and it's perfect for handles because you get to keep all of that lovely scallop detail, and it's really comfortable on your hand. Now, if you want to double up the card, you can do, but I think it's going to be fine because they're kind of doubled up when when they're going to be joined together there. The size that I used from that set is the one that's around 1 5/8 by about 6.5. But you could also, you don't need dies, you could cut this freehand. It could be an oval shape. I do have handles. I've done lots like this on my caddies and things where they kind of, you hold them like so. So again, check out the playlist. So get your 2 handles, okay, like so. I'm not going to attach, I'm attaching this last because you want to make sure you line it up perfectly. But with this piece here, you've got that 3-inch section. If I just bring in piece of card, there we go, you've got the 3-inch section here. It's the bottom of that where you want to add your double-sided tape. This one here is going to become a mountain fold, and then the top one, that 1 inch, is going to be a valley fold, because that is going to be what the handle attaches to. So you can see the kind of shape we've got there. It's like a rooftop. There's the side of the house and then the roof. Okay, so it's along the bottom here on the outside that you want to run your tape. So I'm just running a strip of double-sided tape like so. So if it's cardstock and you haven't added the 3 boxes in, you could just run some liquid glue there and that would work. And then I'm going to pop this one in. Now, because I've already stuck that one down, I just need to make sure it's lined up. You want it so it's just above the boxes, or you can push it right down to the bottom as well. It's up to you, and then just push that down. So it's still easy to attach because I've got the boxes to be able to push against, like so. And then when I bring it up on the sides there, you see that cool shape we've got. So now I'm going to add my tape on the inside of the acetate, because I'm going to add a decorative paper across the front here, which will hide the tape. If you stick it on the front, then you just have to put your decorative paper on the inside so you don't see the tape. So it's entirely up to you. But again, I'm just going to run a couple of strips. I'm just going to snip off the ends there just so that none of that overhangs. Take the backing off, and then I'm just going to line it up with a fold on the acetate, which is what I did with the other side. Stick that down, and if you flip it over again, hoping this is coming out, can you see it's still quite white in places? Just take your bone folder, and as soon as you go over it, it goes really dark, and that way you know it's adhered nicely. I've just realised what I said to you about making sure you don't stick it on the front, and I've just done that. But do you know what? It doesn't matter. It all lines up. So I'm going to add a strip onto this side and also on the inside there. But anyway, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to add hook and loop to close that all up. And then I've got my gift tag here. It's spooky season, and that's from my Halloween sentiments stamp set, which was from last year, but again I will link it below. And then I've got some different coloured twine ribbon that I'm going to attach it with. The pieces to cover here, you'll want them to be, well, pretty much the whole width, so that 1 inch by the 7 3/4, and you'll want 2 to 4 pieces. Okay, so that is everything finished. So just open it up here so you can see I've added 3 hook and loop there, and those are from here. I've got all of these, I'll link them below, and then you can see you can easily access your 3 boxes there. So there you have it. So cute little kind of caddy style alternative, you know, gift ideas for Halloween. I can't wait to fill this one up, and yeah, I think I know I'm going to be giving this one to. So as always, thank you for watching today. I will have all of the products that I've used linked in the description box below the video. Coming up now will be some other fun Halloween projects that you might want to watch next. And if you've enjoyed today, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.